Hello everyone, this is Editing Barbara from the future. This video is an actual fucked up mess. It's all over the place, it's more ranting and rambling than anything. So if you are not into that, I suggest you just leave. Otherwise, hi, it's nice of you to stay. Hi guys, I am back and today I'm here with the long-awaited The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer review. Finally, just a side note, do you appreciate the effort I'm putting into this? Noah, the love interest, least favourite colour in this book is yellow. I'm wearing yellow. Yeah, you'd be amazed at how much I enjoy being petty to fictional characters. Like, honestly, it's fun. You should try it. So, what is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer about? You've probably heard of this book before. Most of the big booktubers have talked about it, raved about it, talked about how much they loved it, so naturally I was intrigued. Titillated. Well, I wanted to know what all the hype was about. I looked it up and it was defined as a young adult paranormal novel. Yeah, this book has like 2 paranormal aspects, if that. It's a very secondary theme. If you want to read this book, which I really don't recommend, really, just expect contemporary with a paranormal twist to it. I really didn't think it was scary at all. In fact, at some times I found it boring. If you expect to have a fucking scary thriller paranormal novel, don't bother. It's about a girl named Mara Dyer who wakes up in a hospital with no memory of how she's got there, and apparently she's been in an accident where her 3 friends have died, her boyfriend, her best friend, and her best friend's friend who she didn't really like. Anyway, so she is traumatized, she's diagnosed with PTSD, she starts getting hallucinations, visions, hearing things, people dying around her, and she doesn't know what the fuck is going on, and like, you know, a normal human being would probably try and get help. Yeah, she doesn't do that. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So she ends up moving away to escape the entire thing going on in her life that she wants to escape. So she moves to Florida with her family, and this is where our story begins. If this sounds like something that you would enjoy, sure, go ahead and read it. I'm not fucking about to sit here and recommend this book to you because I can honestly say that it is not worth reading. That's it. It's full of tropes, very annoying, and at times problematic. I'm not even kidding. So honestly, you can read it, sure, but I would say don't read it. But again, I'm not here to dictate what you are supposed to read and what you're not supposed to read. So do what you want. But if you want to read it and don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you fuck off now. Otherwise, let's get into the video. So I'm gonna start with a few things that I actually liked about this book. I thought that Michelle Hodkin actually created quite realistic-ish characters. They felt quite real, even though they were annoying and assholes most of the time. They did feel real, and I feel like this was good writing. It was okay writing. It's very typical young adult writing, you know? You could very easily compare this to Sarah J Maas, or Marissa Meyer has a very similar. Her writing is very typical of YA. So if you're in that sort of writing, I guess it's good. I feel like it's mediocre at best, but I feel like it can be seen as good in the sense that if you're not really into reading long classics with fucking amazing writing, like if you don't want to read Ulysses but you still want to have a book where the focus is mainly on the story rather than the writing, you can still appreciate that the writing is there has been effort put into the writing. So that is a good thing, I guess. And that's all that I liked about the book, and now I'm gonna fucking get into the roast because that is literally why I'm making this entire video. If you haven't read the book and you're just here to watch me swear at a book in front of a camera, I'm just gonna go from the beginning. There are several categories of annoyance, but if I go in chronological order, I feel like you might understand what's going on, and if you have read the book, hi. I remember the reason I read this book was because a girl recommended it to me, and she's in my class at school, and I desperately wanted to be her friend at the time that I read that, so I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna love it, and we're gonna become like best friends, and I hated it. Without further ado, let's fucking get started. So the first thing we see in this book is Mara with her 2 friends, playing with a Ouija board. If you don't know what that is, it's like a board that you can use to communicate with the dead. And you can ask them shit and then they're gonna like attempt to answer that, I don't know. And then Mara goes, I don't have anything to ask dead people. And at 16, we're too old for this, I didn't say. So she thinks it's an absolute fucking waste of time. She doesn't want to be doing it. She's probably a little bit scared, which honestly, like, I don't blame her. And her friend is like, ask whether Jude will ever like you back. Can I ask it a car? Is this like a dead Santa scenario? Page 2. Already, page 2. I met from fucking disrespectful ass bitches. People who are dead may have died in a war fighting for your country. You're gonna ask him if a crush will like you back, or you're gonna ask them for a car, joke about them being like a dead Santa. Like, are you okay? First of all, like, why would you ever fuck with that shit if you believe in ghosts? And second of all, like, how disrespectful can you get? That maybe that's just me. But yeah, and anyway, that's something I want to address. First description we get of Mara is, I was pale and cautious. Keep that in mind. Mara is cautious, okay? I want you to keep that in mind for later in the video. So they play that fucking Ouija board game, and then Rachel, who is Mara's friend, asks the people, dead people, how she's gonna die, and then they answer with Mara. So it's gonna be Mara's fault, and they're all kind of like laughing it off, and then Mara is just like shitting her pants in the corner, trying to like not appear stupid in front of her friends. So moral of chapter 1, given to peer pressure, be fucking disrespectful to the dead. Keep in mind, that's within the first 4 fucking pages, so... Then chapter 2, she wakes up in a hospital and she's all like, oh, what happened? And then her mom's like, oh, you were in an accident, blah, blah, blah. Tropes, they have to be there. And she's basically freaking out because her friends died in an accident. They have no idea how it happened. Mara is the only one who was there, so she's the only one who can remember. They have an entire fucking conversation about it. She's diagnosed with PTSD and they're on their merry way. So moving on to chapter 3. So they're at a cemetery for a burial. And her mum is acting kind of wary around Mara because obviously she was found knocked out with a bunch of dead people. Like, what would your reaction be? And Mara says, page 15,
I remembered the way my mother's eyes narrowed when I brought it up a few days after the disastrous appointment. So wary, so cautious, like I was a bomb under her bed.
I don't know. Maybe she's worried about you. She is your mother. Like, I don't fucking know. And then she goes on to say, the psychologist was overreacting, just like my mother. So the psychologist, just background information, is suggesting therapy for a PTSD patient who just almost died while all her friends died. I don't know. Maybe you'd want to go into therapy if you were diagnosed with PTSD and like maybe going to go insane. In this case, absolutely going to go insane. I don't think suggesting therapy is that much of an overreaction, to be honest. Maybe that's just me though. So then Mara talks about how she wants to move away. She thinks it's going to be a lot more useful than therapy because obviously, like, why would you do both? Keep in mind, this whole conversation seems to be happening at a funeral. Maybe I misread that, but like, they talk about it and then she talks about being at the funeral of her best friend. So I don't know. Maybe if you go to your best friend's funeral, you would expect to be mourning them, maybe crying a bit or being sad. But no, she just fucking has a conversation about moving rather than going into therapy. So, you know. And she's also a selfish bitch, by the way, because her family doesn't want to move. Her dad has a job. Her mother doesn't want to move. Her little brother has loads of friends. It was too easy to forget that my parents were leaving everything behind too. My father's law practice, my mother's patience. And Joseph, though only 12, accepted without much explanation that we were moving. Moral of chapter 3. Just don't take your family into consideration ever. Don't go to therapy. Be a selfish bitch, basically. Mara moves. She goes to her new school, Croydon. She goes to the vending machine and lo and behold, she meets the man of her life. She falls in love with the first guy she ever sees. I'm just gonna get a little bit angry. Real quick. So she gets angry at the vending machine because like she put the money in, she doesn't get her fucking snack or whatever. And then someone says, you have an anger management problem. I whipped around at the sound of the warm, lilting British accent behind me. Why do all these sexy men have to be British? Like, if I talk in more of a British accent, is that gonna get me more subscribers? Is that how life works? So it goes on to say strong jaw and chin and whatever the fuck. Scruffy, British, hot bad boy. Totally most incredible case of insta-love that I've ever fucking seen. So that's how the chapter ends. She meets the love of her life. Okay, chapter 5. The guy leaves after saying, oh, you have anger management issues because she fucking kicked the vending machine, whatever, doesn't really matter, that's irrelevant. And the perfect popular girl arrives and she's like, watch it. Honestly, this is like Mean Girls and Twilight got together and had a baby, and this is what happened. Like, so from day one, she hasn't even gone to lesson yet. She's already made the enemy out of the popular girl, and the hot boy who everyone wants has already fallen in love with her. So then we move on, and we get the first case of hallucination. She hears her ex-boyfriend, who is now dead, presumed dead, Jude, laughing. And she goes on to be like, oh my god, like, I'm going crazy. Like, my head snapped up as my blood froze. It was Jude's laugh, Jude's voice. Nothing but trees. Of course, because Jude was dead, like Claire and like Rachel, which meant I'd had 3 hallucinations in less than 3 hours, which wasn't good. She admits that having hallucinations isn't fucking healthy, which you think is a normal thing, but like, honestly, if you read the book, like, honestly, you're past that. And she's not getting the fucking help she needs. Like, okay, I've been through mental illness and I know how difficult it is to get help, but when it's to the point where you're having so many hallucinations in such a short amount of time and you're going absolutely fucking insane, you should be getting help. Why does this bitch not try to get... I'm confused. I'm honestly fucking confused. Okay, moving on to chapter 7. She makes friends with this guy who at first I thought he was gay for some reason, and apparently he's not. I don't know how this works, okay? He's called Jamie. He's good at school. He's kind of weird. She makes friends with the weird geeky friend, basically, who's possibly gay. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm just confused at this point. So they get talking, and then new chick, who said what? Don't leave a fella hanging. That's what Jamie says. I smiled. There was this girl earlier who told me to watch it. I described vending machine girl to Jamie and watched his eyebrows rise. The guy she was with was equally unfriendly, I finished. So she tells Jamie about this fucking encounter she's had near the vending machines. Jamie shook his head. You went near Shaw, didn't you? Oh, you went near the bad boy, didn't you? You went near her ex-boyfriend, didn't you? Everyone knows that you cannot do that. Of course it's common knowledge. Of course we would have that trope from page 39. Like, for fuck's sake, And then Jamie goes, what did you do to Anna? Which is the name of the girl who, like, got mad at her for, like, talking to her ex-boyfriend. And she goes, what did I do to her? I did absolutely nothing to her, blah, blah, blah. Which may be true. But moving on, we will see that this case of insta-love is indeed insta-love and not just friendly banter with a new guy that she happens to have met. And then he goes, well, you did something to get her attention. You'd normally be beneath her notice, but the claws will come out if Shaw starts sniffing around you, he said. Which he will, having exhausted Croydon's limited female resources already. Literally. Are we actually continuing with these fucked up cliches of, I'm this normal girl who is traumatized, I have an absolute lack of personality, I am boring, but this guy who somehow fucked every girl in the school is gonna, like, be interested in me because I'm special but, like, normal, if you get what I mean. And now I'm going to get into the first problematic aspect of this book, which is slut shaming, which is everywhere. Girl on girl hate, slut shaming, you name it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have that much respect for people who sleep around. I think it's fucking stupid and unsafe, but I'm not gonna be an asshole to them. So Jamie goes, Anna used to be the abstinence poster girl, but post Shaw, you could write a comic book about the many adventures of her vagina. It could wear a cape. What? And then obviously Anna's boyfriend Davis, a fucking dumb jock stereotype. Like, what else would you expect from a YA full of fucking tropes? So they talk a bit more, have friendly banter, as you do. And the last line of chapter 7 is, of course, I kept today's hallucinations to myself. Moral of the story, don't seek help for your PTSD. Don't seek help for your fucking hallucinations. Don't seek help when people start appearing and you go absolutely fucking crazy because you're seeing dead people everywhere. Don't freak out, keep it to yourself, you're gonna be fine. And she goes on to talk about her PTSD over and over again, doing absolutely fucking nothing about it, which is ridiculous. Like, honestly, like, to me, if you're seeing dead people and hearing things and having full-on hallucinations, I feel like it's reason enough to go get help. Like, I feel like I've been screaming water is wet in this fucking camera for over, how much? 20 minutes. Like, why? Why? And then she goes home and her parents are like, how was your day? And she's like, oh, I've had a rough day, blah, blah, blah. Girl, your day was not a rough day. Like, you got mad at some chick who was rude to you and you like a guy who's an asshole. Like, that's That does not qualify as a rough day, I'm sorry. So then we have a scene with a family where she absolutely emotionally manipulates them all the time, which is fucking ridiculous. Now we're gonna move on to chapter 9. So, again, guess what is mentioned? Her PTSD. Are you seeing a trend here? Now, I don't mind. I think it's good to raise awareness for these things, but if you're gonna do it, fucking raise awareness for recovery as well, not just being a fucking dipshit about it. And then her mum wants to send her to therapy, even though they've moved away. And Mara goes, but I had no desire to study for the SATs in a padded cell. And since the effect of my grand gesture, attending the funerals, had obviously worn off, I needed to keep my crazy in check. It seemed to be working for now. Bitch, what? Her mum suggests therapy. And she's like, no, I don't want to go to a padded cell. Okay, fair enough, no one wants that. Then she goes, my grand gesture, attending the funerals. I don't know, attending your best friend's funeral perhaps wouldn't or shouldn't be considered a chore. I don't know about you, maybe I'm just weird and I'm not getting a lot of the things in this book, but like, holy shit. And then her mum calls her for dinner and Mara goes, she looked anxious, more so than usual. I started to think she was the one who should be taking medication and not for the first time. Holy shit! Mara! What does Mara have? Hallucinations, PTSD, hears shit, hears voices, sees dead people. And her mum suggests therapy. And Mara goes, oh, you should be on medication. Like, your mum is worried about you. She's your fucking mum. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, moving on to chapter 10, where we get more interaction with Noah, who is the love interest, you know? Hot, bad boy, British Noah? Yeah, him. So, she's reading Lolita, as you do, because every YA novel character seems to have a favourite classic novel, you know? Noah goes, so, you're a smut hound with daddy issues? Do you really want your boyfriend to talk to you like that? I don't know, the way I see things, Noah is more fuck buddy material than boyfriend material. Hot and an asshole, like that's exactly what you look for in a friend with benefits, not a fucking long-term relationship. Mara acts like she's so uninterested. Noah carries on talking to her, or at her, because she seems not to be fucking listening to a word he says. And it goes on and on and on for the entire fucking chapter. Oh my god. Next day, she goes to school. She sees a dog who's like really badly treated and she like looks at it and she like feels sorry for it and shit, which okay, understandable. And then she sees like the owner come along who's literally the stereotype of a drunk heroin addict who looks like a wife beater as well. She literally says that somewhere. And she's really fucking rude to him. And then he like kind of threatens her and then she gets the hint and like fucks off, you know? But can we address the fact? The first description we get of Mara is that she's cautious. What about getting under the skin of a pit bull dog owner who's treated it badly and like is probably a fucking wife beater? Cautious. Like that's what I want to know. The next chapter begins and she starts scheming about how she's going to save that dog, you know? So she does finally think that is a good idea to call someone rather than deal with the shit herself. And the last line of this is, he deserves to die. Keep that in mind. And then, you know, he does die. Shocker. And then she goes to school, she's thinking about the dog and shit. Noah comes up to him, and then Mara goes, page 75, what makes you think I'm all that curious about you? I asked. And then Mara carries on being like super fucking rude. Don't know why she feels the compulsion to do so. I mean, why not just tell him that she's not interested and to please leave him alone? Oh no, because that would defeat the point of her being an asshole and still liking him and wanting him to like her because she's an actual fuckwit. He deadass goes to her fucking algebra class and sits through it with her. Okay. Even if she is interested, you don't stalk her for the entire day at school and then follow her into classes. First of all, who the fuck would sit through extra algebra? Second of all, how is it acceptable to be stalking someone when they're clearly not interested? Or even if they are, like you don't just stalk people, that's creepy. And she calls about the neglected dog. The dog owner was dead. Exactly as I had imagined it. Ooh, scary! Can we just address the fact that we're 80 pages in and this is the like only like paranormal aspect that we get, you know, because before like it's just fucking hallucinations. So, dog owner is dead, chapter ends, and then, oh shit. And then the next chapter starts and she goes, I laughed, I was that crazy, and then I threw up. Yeah, Mara, you definitely don't need therapy for all of this. You're stable, bitch. Like, you laugh and then you throw up. Well done. Well fucking done. Noah shows up, obviously, because he's an absolute fucking stalker, and she's like, oh my god, like I have a almost dead dog, like can you take me to a vet? Actually he offers, but like whatever. And this brat, like she doesn't even phone her goddamn parents. Like she's gonna leave them hanging. She's not home from school. She's got PTSD. She's fucking unstable at the moment. Her parents are obviously gonna worry, but what does she do? She doesn't call them. She doesn't want to. She just goes to the fucking vet with Noah, and she talks about how she's gonna go home and like bring a dog and be like, oh, I have a dog now. And then she goes, they had to take pity on their screwed up daughter and her pathetic companion. I was not above milking my tragedy for a higher purpose. Bitch, we know that you emotionally manipulate your parents all the way through the book. We know that, okay? You don't need to tell us. Okay, and then the chapter ends, and oh, this. This is my favourite bit. Noah placed his forefinger above my upper lip and his thumb below my bottom lip and applied the slightest pressure, cutting me off. I felt lightheaded and my eyelids might have fluttered closed. So embarrassing. I wanted to kill myself a little. Sure, Mara. Shut up, he said quietly. It doesn't matter. Let's just get her checked out, alright? The dog. I nodded feebly, my pulse galloping in my veins. Wait! He tells you to shut the fuck up, and what was her response? I nodded feebly. What the hell? Can we just fucking address something? This book is so popular on BookTube, and as most of us know, BookTube is an actual festering hole for liberals who are pro women's rights and, you know, pro raising awareness from mental illness and all that stuff. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree, but like, there's a lot of people on here who like are super liberal, super mega feminists, are all talking about mental health and how it's important to raise awareness and kind of talk about it in a positive way. And this book is exactly the fucking opposite. Why is it so popular? Like, I honestly do not understand why no one has seen this in this book. Like, honestly, I'm genuinely confused. Okay, so they get in the car. They go take the fucking dog to a vet. And this is another thing that I want to fucking criticize. Noah brought out the worst in me. You want to be with a guy who brings out the worst with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? And then she goes, we reached the vet's office. Noah left the car and started walking to the passenger side. I flung my door open just in case he had a mind to open it. Oh, good God. So you accept the fact that he's telling you to shut the fuck up, but God forbid he opened the door for you. Like, that would just be a basic act of politeness. Like, why the fuck would you want that? So then she goes on and criticizing for being a smoker, and then she goes on to say that she's turned on by the fact that he smokes. I'm not even kidding, guys. She goes, well, yeah, smoking is bad and shit. And she goes, that mouth. Smoking was a bad habit. Yes, but he looks so good doing it. Like, you can't just criticize it and then go on to say how turned on you are by it. Like, bitch, that's not how it works. Then they go on to talk about how many girls he's fucked, as you do. And then, my friends, we get to page 98. I was beginning to think that we would reach the 100-page mark without having too many tropes. But then 98 and 99, we have two of my favorite young adult tropes. Are you ready? I think you're ready. You're not like other girls. This, my friends, is the straw that broke the motherfucking camel's back. Page 99. He smelled like sandalwood and the ocean. See? Fucking see? I'm not making these tropes up. If you're new here, these are the tropes that I talked about in my young adult sucks video. They're both here. They're both here. In the space of 2 pages, we have those 2 fucking tropes. I need to calm down. Oh yeah, and then she talks about how she draws Noah and shit. And like, keep in mind, she's telling us and everyone else the whole time that she's not into Noah, that he is an asshole, which, you know, true. But then she fucking draws a full sketchbook full of him. Okay, I'm just trying to speed through it. I'm sorry if you haven't read the book and it's like kind of hard for you to follow, but I'm just gonna move on to more of the problematic aspects right now. Jamie tries to warn her about Noah, and he goes, I heard that a senior from Walden tried to commit suicide after he got what he came for, pun intended, and didn't call again. What is Mara's answer to that? Sounds like a major overreaction on her part. Page 115. Guys, I'm honestly confused. This book, a lot of people were like, it raises awareness for mental illness. And sure, maybe a little bit PTSD. But who in their right fucking mind raises awareness about PTSD and then that says that suicide is an overreaction? Like, obviously none of these characters, and I'm sure the author, doesn't understand that suicide doesn't just come from getting fucked by a guy who doesn't call you back, you know? Like, there's probably a lot more going on in this girl's life that we never hear about again. She didn't fucking commit suicide because she had sex once and then didn't get another date with the guy. Like, that's not how life works. Amara to say, and indirectly the author to say, oh, that was just another reaction. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, you can't say you're raising awareness for mental illness and then making fun of suicide. Like, what is actually wrong with you? Like, I feel really stupid for having to announce this, but you can't just raise awareness for one mental illness and then shit on all the others. Like, am I the only one who thinks that's weird? Oh yeah, and then Noah continues to stalk her and actually continues to stalk her into the girls' bathroom. So, like, honestly, like, at this point, I don't know what to think anymore. We find out how much of an arrogant asshole Noah is. Several instances of that. So they talk about music. Mara's like, I'm more well-rounded than you. And then Noah goes, not possible. You're American. Oh, okay, fine. A bit arrogant, but sure. This might have been funny had it been one incident, you know? Then we find out about Noah's tragic backstory. Never seen before, never had that sort of thing before. And then he goes to the bathroom or whatever. They're at the restaurant and she gets hit on by this guy. She's just unnecessarily rude to him. She could just say, sorry, I'm not interested, I'm here with a guy. But no, she's just a rude asshole to him until fucking Noah appears. And then, this is another of my favourite parts. The waiter appeared then, and Noah plucked the menu out of my hands and handed it over, rushing off our order in Spanish. The waiter departed from the kitchen. I shot him a dark look. I hadn't decided yet. Trust me. I guess I don't have much choice. She loses her shit if he so much as tries to open the door for her, but as soon as he fucking tells her to shut the fuck up, or better yet, orders for her. What if she had allergies? What if she was a vegan? What if she had any intolerance? No, he doesn't give a shit. He just thinks, you know, I speak Spanish, I speak all these languages. You're American, I'm European. I am so much more intelligent than you. Oh yeah, and here we have another incident of Noah being a fucking asshole. So he says that he knows vagina in like so many languages, and then Mara asks him why, which, can you blame her? And then he goes, because I'm European, and therefore more cultured than you. Honestly, I wish he was right. I wish I could be smart just because I'm European. Like, I am European. That doesn't mean I'm not an absolute fuckwit. Oh, and then we have another case of Noah being stupid. So we find out he's really rich, right? And then Mara's like, I'm paying for my lunch. And Noah goes, I don't understand. And then Mara goes, food costs money. Brilliant. That doesn't explain why you think you're paying for it. Like, let a girl pay, fuck's sake, Noah, because I can pay for my own food. It was $10. And, wouldn't you know, I have $10. And then, Noah, and I have an American Express black card. Noah, you fuckwit! Like, that's not how you talk to people. So, throughout this day, Noah is basically shitting all over Mara, which, I mean, true, but like, he goes, you're American, therefore you are dumb, and you're also poor, and I'm rich and intelligent. You are just a fucking idiot. Oh yeah, and this is just something, maybe this is just me being an absolute fucking cunt, I don't know. Talks about how Noah turns to her and it's like all romantic and shit. And she goes, my pulse raced without my permission. Pulse? Okay, pulse, behave yourself, okay? Like, who the fuck controls that pulse? Like, I know this is just like a stupid thing, but like that actually kind of made me laugh. Okay, moving on. They're pretty much officially boyfriend and girlfriend. So they're going to school and then one of the guys goes, I'd hit that. I kept walking. I'd hit it harder, said someone else. Blood whooshed in my ears, but I didn't look back. I'd hit that so hard, whoever pulled me out would become the King of England. Noah was no longer by my side. I turned. He had Kent from algebra pinned against the car. I should injure you considerably, he said in a low voice. Oh, in a low voice, see how dangerous Noah is? Oh, he was slightly rude to Mara and now he's about to fucking beat the shit out of him. Get fucked, Kent. Okay, so Kent is a fucking dumbass who doesn't think before running his dumb cunt mouth, and he goes, oh, I will, which, you know, it's just, nobody cares, really. And then Noah loses his shit and beats the fuck out of him and gets suspended. Clearly both of them are unstable. They're both dumbasses, perfect couple, honestly. And can we just address the fact, we've only pretty much had contemporary things in this book. It's defined as a paranormal thriller. This is literally contemporary. Just to make a point, I'm gonna share this passage with you. Remember when the first description we got of Mara is that she's cautious? So if for you, those of you who haven't read the book, she's got this absolute fucking cow of a teacher and she has to pass her oral examination for Spanish, right? And she asks her a question and obviously Mara knows the answer because she's so fucking smart. So she nails the answer and then the teacher is like, you may sit down, Miss Dyer, and then she goes, no, and she carries on fucking blurting out all the facts. And this teacher fucking tells her over and over again, like, go sit down, like, you're done, like, it's fine. And then she fucking continues to give her the fucking answer until the teacher obviously loses her shit. And that teacher has a history of failing students when she didn't like them, and seeing as it's an oral examination, like, it couldn't be, like, fully controlled, you know? She could have just said, oh, she didn't know the answer. Yeah, Mara, you're very cautious. You're triggering the teacher who hates you the most. How fucking cautious of you, really? Oh, that's another thing I want to fucking have a laugh at. Get out of my classroom! Morales bellowed. At that point, I couldn't hold it in longer. A smug smile lit up my face, and I sauntered out of the room to the sound of applause. Do you know what this fucking sounds like? This sounds like those fucking 12-year-olds posting on Tumblr about shit that never fucking happened. You know, it's always like they say something smart and then everyone approaches. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I know it's me being a bit of a bitch at this point, but like, honestly, thank God we're almost done with this because I'm honestly losing my shit. And then we get to the point where her her little brother, 12 years old I think, gets kidnapped, and Noah somehow knows that he's been kidnapped and they can't possibly go call the police because who the fuck does that? No, they have to go save him themselves, which they do. They somehow manage to like cross through a fucking creek full of alligators because it's fucking Florida, and they go save the brother, and it all ends well, and the brother's like, oh, like I just fainted, I don't know what happened. So the brother's being kidnapped. Instead of being normal ass human beings, they don't call the fucking police and they just go on their own, as you do, you know? And like throughout the book, we get like those things where she remembers what happened to her the night her friends died, and we find out that she was sexually assaulted by her ex-boyfriend. How do I say this? I don't know about you, but if I was sexually assaulted, my first thought upon going to a new school wouldn't be to find a new boyfriend or get a lot of physical contact with other guys. That wouldn't be my priority personally. And also the fact that he sexually assaulted her is just fucking irrelevant. It doesn't add anything to the story. It's just there to make us think Jude is more of an asshole, because it's not enough that he turns out to be alive in the end and he's probably the one who's been killing all these people, you know? She goes to talk about Noah and she goes, with me, reckless Noah, game for anything. I loved him. I loved him. Okay, we don't know very much about the time scheme in this book, but from what I've gathered, you've known this bitch for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month at most, and you're in love with him. Oh yeah, and then her Spanish teacher dies. She talks to Noah. Turns out he's capable of healing people. He wants her to test her abilities on him, which her ability is to kill people, and he wants to see if he can heal himself. This book is very confusing, to be honest. She goes, I won't let you do this, I said. You won't stop me. His voice was low now. Incredibly sexy. Take away anything I said about good writing. Honestly, thank you, Michelle Hodkin, for entertaining my audience better than I ever fucking could. I whispered, I could kill you. Then I'd die happy. Yeah, that's honestly that's everybody's dream, wanting to be killed by the person you supposedly love after 2 weeks. Like, honestly, yeah, same. Same. Then, fast forward, another thing. They're talking about shit, and you know, it turns out that Noah almost died last time they kissed, and then Noah like goes like, I don't want to die necessarily now because apparently he's changed his mind, and he goes, you can't kiss me. And Mara, that little bitch, she goes, you don't want me? Like, I'm not putting this on for show, like I'm literally so fucking frustrated. Noah has spent his life stalking Mara through the school ever since they met, and this bitch has the audacity to say, you don't want me? No, maybe he just realized that he might not want to fucking die, perhaps. And then we get like, you are mine and I am yours bullshit. And honestly, I'm not even gonna continue with this review. We find out later that Jude is still alive. He's probably the one who's behind the kidnapping of her little brother. And this video is literally an hour long. I've been recording for like an hour and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this bullshit. So, what did we learn from the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer? Don't get help when you get hallucinations and PTSD. When your little brother gets kidnapped, don't phone the police. Go yourself. Just do it yourself. Get an emotionally manipulative boyfriend, emotionally manipulate your family, and go here. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is about all the things that I found problematic in this book. About the slut shaming, girl on girl hate, making fun of mental illness, not properly raising awareness for actually getting help. This book is so popular on BookTube. And as I mentioned before, so many people on BookTube are fucking feminists and like mental awareness rights activists. I don't know if that's even a thing, I wouldn't be surprised. And the fact that me, when I'm not even a feminist and I am very vocal about how much I dislike social justice warriors, I found some absolutely shitty aspects in this book. Like the fact that he constantly tells her to shut up, that he's manipulative, that she is manipulative, that she doesn't get help for her mental illness, that they make fun of suicide. Like it blows my mind that me, who usually doesn't care about this shit, sees more about this book than most booktubers. And maybe the booktubers who have reviewed this book were paid to talk well about it. I don't know, but I'm not gonna fucking lie. I thought it was ridiculous. It was annoying. Story was actually boring to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I found it boring after a while. And what else am I gonna say? Oh yeah, fucking ridiculous and full of tropes. So yeah, if you are still here, thank you so much. Like, I can't believe you're still here after I've been recording for literally an hour. So yeah, social media will be down below. You can subscribe over here and watch my last video over here. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!